Tell me about your day.
Yeah, well, which day,
Right, every day.
Yeah, you've been with me, Matt. I've been out on places. When you went with me to do the church that day, and we had all those bees to take out of the back of the church. While we were there, I got a call to go to a lady's house I needed to check out because she had bees in a tree and bees in the side of her house. I left that job after I got the bees out in that little interval when I've got to wait till dark to go back and back out the bees. I drove to Macomb, about 40 miles there, to go check on a tree that bees had overwintered in that a guy had put up by a hedgerow. Unfortunately, they found out they didn't make it through the winter. But, it was just another one I had to check. By the time I got back, the guy that had me get the bees out of the church had called me and told me he just realized he had bees in his shed. And then I had an email from somebody here in Springfield that had bees starting to gather in the corner of his roof of his house that I needed to look at. Even when we did the house in Petersburg, I took 2 swarm calls that day in the middle of everything. I had to wipe my hands off and answer my phone to deal with that through my veil. And I ended up, I've got a weatherproof case on my phone because I get so doggone many calls in my hands. There's a gooey and sticky from cutout.
I know, I've seen you actually do that, answer the phone and get honey on your hands. But because it's the feral bees, the wild colonies are really thriving here in central Illinois.
Yes, they really are. Yeah, I get, it's just, yesterday I did a cutout on some trees, and after that I had to go look at bees underneath a shed here behind a business in Springfield. I mean, it just happens like that a lot. I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that they're just doing really well.
The feral ones are, and that's what the genetic diversity. They're a little more like they have a little more oomph to them.
Evidently, yeah. I don't know that I have the answer, but I can't deny what's going on around me. I mean, I see it all the time. That they're just there. I wish I had an answer. If somebody gave me one, that's great. But part of the reason I don't even know if I care if there's an answer because they're out there living and people keep calling and I keep going and getting them as many as I can. And what am I supposed to do? I'm getting a little short of equipment, and I get work at nights, and sometimes this gets to meaning that I don't get a whole lot of sleep, bouncing between working all night and getting up real early to go check out somebody, or having to juggle my time to cut bees in the afternoon and hope I can get it done before night, or hope I don't work that night so I can go back that night and finish them up. And
it's true. Admittedly, I'm amazed because I was like, you drive the truck all night long, sometimes 12 hours, and then come home. I think you sleep for about 2 hours, and you get up and go answer bee calls.
Sometimes that's the way it is. I'll be sleeping and the phone will ring. My wife tells me, well, why don't you turn the phone off? Well, what am I supposed to do? People call about bees. I'm going to say, well, I'm really sorry. I just can't get them. Well, my husband's going to kill them if somebody doesn't come and get them. And then what am I supposed to say? Well, pray them. Heck with them. I got time for that. I got to get a nap. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I care too much for the bees to do that.
And so this year has been so prolific with these feral colonies and trees and stuff and buildings that you've basically run out of hives.
Yeah.
Completely. And you're storing them in boxes and using pieces of other contraptions to house these bees for right now.
I have old worn out bottom boards that I can't use for bottom boards anymore, and I'm just kind of using them to cover up the tops right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
And today, this Sunday, we just put the campaign up live, and you're off now again, still doing more bees, right?
Yeah.
You were at this morning doing it.
I got up early this morning because I had to go back and get the bees that I took out yesterday. It rained last night, so I couldn't pick the box up after they all gathered up. And then when I got there this morning, evidently the rain had isolated some outside on another limb, so I had to just scoot the box over, and they started crawling in the hive then, but I'm going to have to go back tonight and get those. And I've got a hive that I haven't had time to go get up north of here that I cut out of a tree last week. And it's kind of like triage sometimes. I've got people that have bees in homes or in a wall, and then I'll get a call about, like last week, the tree fell down and it split open. Yeah. Or the call about the combine that they were pushing up for scrap metal and they broke it open and there's bees in the header. Well, I've got, those are bees that are exposed, even though I've got other bees that I've told people I were going to get. This is more important because I can't expose them to the elements. So I've got to get those. Even the other day when I went to the combine, I was halfway over to Painted to get the bees out of the combine. I got a call, hey, you got bees in a swarm on the other side of Springfield. By the time it was raining, so I had to wait till the next morning and go get those.
Well, and then I know too, one of the things, this is with Facebook, you have a Facebook page that pretty much you're always posting photos.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to go to the Facebook, sign up to your Facebook page, friend you, and they can watch your kind of real-time activities of your daily colony rescues.
Yeah. What's the best I can do? I've got all my photos on my website too that I've done with my cutouts and all the swarm captures and trap outs in the years past. But I don't really have time to sit down and do the website thing. But I can always grab my phone and post a few quick photos of what I'm doing. So I try to keep up with that so people can see what's going on.
And then we have the benefit at the end of the month at Donnie's Homespun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be great.
Yeah, got some good bands ready. That'll be confirmed, I think, within a week. So, encourage everybody to go to see that.
At my observation hive there, people can see some bees crawling around inside behind some glass. And plexiglass is not going to break open, so you don't have to worry about it. Everything's safe. But you get to look up, Queen will be in there, so you get to see what's going on. I got some photos there, some large photos of some of the pictures that I've taken, and so people can get a good idea of what's going on in and around the beehive.
Awesome. Well, is there anything you want to conclude in this little interview?
Oh no, I just really want people to understand that we really need this help, because it's really getting down to that point that I'm getting a little short here in something other than my stature.
That's awesome. Perfect.